it's something that pro bodybuilders especially like to spill. Keep in mind those guys get massive guts because of their GH intake and all of the insulin and nonsense they take, and therefore it's so laughable that they would actually even utter those words because their waist end up just blowing up to the point that no naturals would ever have to worry about that. So don't worry, do your compounds, your squats and deadlifts. It's not going to give you a massive gut, that's nonsense, trust me. Now, if we're going to go back on the functional and aesthetic properties of the big legs, as I said, I like big legs. I think they look very masculine and they look good. I want to have a big body, and the legs are some of the bigger portions of the body that you can grow. Therefore, if you want a complete physique, you need to grow them. And we've seen that with time, the legs have become bigger and bigger and bigger. Some people are going to cite me the silver era in the 70s and the 80s when guys had slimmer legs. I personally am not a big fan of these looks at all. I prefer big legs. I prefer an X taper. Now, if you like the V taper more, that's your thing. But even with a V taper, you sort of want to develop your legs. But it's going to be a discussion between people who want big legs and people who want tree trunk legs. Because at the end of the day, what are big legs? That is subjective completely. Like, for some guys, 20 inches or 22 inches legs are going to be big. For me, that is small. For me, a big leg is 26, 27, and very big is going to be like 29, 30 inches. Those are my standards that are biased because I love tree trunk legs. Some guys are going to think that's already way too big and it's already ridiculous. That is fine. But understand that in terms of pure aesthetic, you cannot make a case for one or the other being better. You just can't. It's up to your own personal preference. Now, if we talk about functional properties, that's when we reach the territory of things that are not really up for debate. If you want the function of the leg to be propped up to its maximum capacity, you're going to have to put meat and muscle on the leg because it's what is going to make it the most potent. After that, the amount of muscle and the utilization of the muscle is going to differ. But for the average lifter, for the average guy who's not an athlete and is just training for maybe looks or a little bit of strength, he's not certain yet, you want to develop the lower back, the glutes and the legs because it creates a very strong protective brace against everything. The best way to prevent lower back injuries is to deadlift. The best way to prevent injuries is to squat. Why? You're replicating natural human patterns with weight, with resistance.
Yeah.
And therefore, you're getting stronger
Probably all the
at them,
excess
and when you get back
calories
doing them without weight,
I eat.
you are good at food.
Not squats.
There is no